Okay, so welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be doing a review on the new JBL Authentics 200, which I've got in front of me here. This is part of the new Authentic range that JBL have recently come out with. A couple of weeks ago or so, these were released. This one retails for £299.99, £300 here in the UK at the moment, and is the smallest of the three that they've released in this range. So I'll take you through, a bit of the specifications, take you around the speaker, give you a sound test, let you know what I think of it. I'll be doing a video for each of these three speakers, and then one at the end to kind of compare them all with each other. If you're unsure of which one is for you, then obviously that video is going to be very useful. So I'll take you around the speaker a bit first. Firstly, the 200 is mains powered only, no battery here at all, so it's not a portable speaker. That's not what it caters for. It's fully mains powered from the back. So here we've got a USB-C out for charging, aux, and an Ethernet port for network, as these are Wi-Fi speakers. You've also got a hardware mic switch up the top if you don't want the kind of like Google Assistant and Alexa options to listen to you speaking. Up on the top, we've got, it says Authentic Sound by JBL here. I don't know if it's going to focus on that or not. It says since 1946, so it's a very nice, like, proper metal design. You've got these buttons. So this is a clicky button on top here, which will skip and pause songs. And then you've got also treble sliders and bass sliders as well, with lights on them. You've got just a power indicator up the top, button for Bluetooth. It does have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, so that's quite cool. And I think that's called the Moment button, which we'll go through a bit later on the app. And why that's almost completely useless for some people. But otherwise, the design is obviously very retro. Yeah, it's very nice, very premium quality. Everything looks very nice. It's got like leather up the top here. I really like the design of all of these speakers. They look really, really good. That JBL logo down there as well is very nice. This one's also got the passive radiator on the bottom as well. So the bass is quite impressive out of this little fella. So as far as specifications go, it has a 90-watt output power, which is obviously the lowest of the three of these speakers, but not too shabby at all. It has two 25mm tweeters. It has one full range 5-inch woofer in the middle at the front, and one 6-inch downward firing passive radiator, which I've just shown you previously there. So yeah, a relatively decent selection of speakers in this. You're not going to be missing out too much of really anything. A lot of speakers, especially of this size, kind of just have a mid-range driver and they just kind of deal with it as that. But this has got the full range and the tweeters and the passive radiator as well, so you're going to be getting everything. So yeah, I mentioned this being a Wi-Fi speaker. That does mean it has Alexa and Google Assistant built in simultaneously, which is quite interesting. I don't think I know of another speaker that can have them running at the same time. Luckily I haven't set it up on this one, so it's not gonna wake up as I'm speaking about them. But yeah, you can use them literally at the same time if one of them does something that the other doesn't, or if you just obviously you can have just one or the other as well. It's completely up to you. You can also use things like Spotify Connect, AirPlay, and it will do all the software updates, firmware updates itself through the JBL One app. Obviously, as long as you've actually connected it to Wi-Fi, because you don't have to. It does have Bluetooth options. I'll take you a little bit through the app. This is the front screen here with like your products. If we hit on the 200, it's got like a music player at the top, which isn't showing anything at the moment, but also doesn't actually work as a music player unless you're using one of these supported music services, which, well, I mean, there's no, I mean, I use Spotify, and that's just not an option on here. For some reason, I've noticed that Spotify isn't an option on actually a lot of these applications. I don't know if it's I'm not sure the reason why, but obviously if you use Tidal or Napster or Amazon Music, then you're fine. But otherwise, you can't actually really control the music through this app, so it does kind of render it almost useless. It does have an equalizer in here as well, but again, you've kind of got that on the top with those dials, so not really sure how much you need that. The Moment feature is what's going on about here. It says it allows you to kind of you press it and it goes straight to your playlist. I think Ultimate Ears have a similar option. But yeah, this is what I mean by it being kind of useless for me, is that you have to set up your preferred music service, which again will give you an option of those ones we just looked at. So if you use Spotify only, this option literally doesn't exist for you, which is slightly mad, if I'm being honest. Because obviously if it was there, you could choose what volume it plays it at and just play your playlist, which would be quite cool. Product settings, you can rename it, turn audio tones on and off, obviously connect it to Wi-Fi, set up Google Assistant and Amazon Alexa, and then it kind of gives you like Spotify Connect, Tidal Connect, and AirPlay options here. Kind of tells you how to do it and lets you go to the Spotify app and kind of links you there, which is useful. Product information doesn't really tell you much. Yeah, otherwise that's pretty much it, to be honest. So like I said, not actually a massive point in those really, but yeah, I mean, there's no lights on these speakers, there isn't much customization, and it does actually have an equalizer effectively built into the top, so there isn't really any need for an app at all. It's just kind of there for because they could, I guess, and these are relatively expensive, so I guess people would complain otherwise. But yeah, last of the specs then, the frequency range on this is 50 hertz to 20 kilohertz, which is considerably lower than the other speakers. I mean, just even in this Authentics range alone, never mind in general. Especially on that bassy side there, that 50 hertz isn't incredible, but that's purely just due to the size of the woofer and not having a real subwoofer in here. But yeah, I mean, for the size, it's not bad at all. Weighs 3.12 kilograms, very specific. But yeah, it's a home speaker. It's not going to be moved around much, so it's pretty irrelevant anyway. Obviously now we're going to move on to the sound test. I'm going to be using Bluetooth because that's what I use with most of the speakers, so it's a bit of a fair comparison. Obviously if you connect it through Wi-Fi, the quality may be slightly better, so do take that into account, but obviously, like I said, I think it's just slightly fairer, as most of the speakers I test we use Bluetooth, so yeah, I'm going to play it with that. I'm going to be doing Everything by Diamond Eyes at 80% volume.
I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Just stare, 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me, that's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to Oh, you meant the world to me. My darling dear, you're never here. When I'm in pain, you hide and disappear like shadows in the atmosphere.
Okay, so sound test over. I hope you can hear the bass on that. I mean, I had it on full actually when I started, and it was literally vibrating this cable so much that it was almost actually ruining the sound. So I had to turn that down a little bit, but even at that point, it was still, you could still hear it vibrating the table. And obviously that's just due to it. So when it's got a 6-inch downward passive radiator downward firing, I think all speakers should have downward firing ones. It just makes it so much better. And yeah, I mean, yeah, for the size, I mean, this thing's supposed to be 90 watt, but it sounds like so much more, and especially the bass, it vibrates, it just creates like proper thumps that you wouldn't get from more than 200 watt speaker otherwise. So it's really, really impressive in that respect. Sound quality is very nice as well. It sounds nice at all volumes. It goes loud enough for pretty much, I mean, obviously this isn't a party speaker, but it goes loud enough for pretty much every room that you're going to have in your house. So realistically, they could have stopped this range here. They could have made a portable one, but there's really no need to go any bigger. So yeah, it'll be interesting when we come to the 500. Um, but yeah, this is a great all-round speaker, and for that price tag, for the design, for the quality, and for the sound quality as well. Literally everything here, it's 10 out of 10, as we expect with JBL, to be honest. But it's yeah, it's brilliant. You know, I haven't had any problems with setup. The app works great. The software update went quickly. The Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth work really well. I have messed around with the other speakers using Alexa and the Google Assistant, and they're all just flawless, basically. So I've got nothing bad to say about it. If you've got £300 and you want a home speaker, then look no further.